This channel is supported by Truefire.
Well, what is this all about then? It's the Truefire Summer Music Festival. What I'm going to tell you about, you can get 1 month of all access for just $1. The all access, you can dip in and out of every single course on Truefire, so that's a really great way to get some awesome courses down you.
I played piano from the age of about 5, and I grew up doing this thing where I'd be, you'd have piano lessons, you do grades. And I've come to the realisation, essentially, most of my thinking around a lot of this stuff has been pretty backward, and it's not really helped me particularly. And I saw a video yesterday that just kind of pointed out that actually the practice is the part that you should be really, really focused on and looking for perfection within practice. Within performance, we actually should be looking for something different. It took me ages to realise this. It's too late for me now, but it's something kind of that's helped me, and I think something I've noticed in my own sort of live playing. I've started to enjoy things more by kind of caring about perfection a bit less and just accepting that where I'm at now is kind of just where I'm at. I had this gig on Monday night. Fraser Kerslake on bass. Hello, Dad, if you're watching. James Fuke on drums. Ozzy Parker on keys. My buddy JakeLoosemore singing and playing the banjo. I was at the back playing mandolin. Now, I've played with James one time. I've never played with Ozzy, and I've been in a rehearsal room with Fraser. We'd not played together as a band before, but, and this is really the key for this with me, I'm starting to just totally understand better than ever before that it's really about sort of enjoying a time playing with other people around you and just trying to be part of that, and also not be too worried about this perfection thing. So in the past, I was certainly, it's about 10 years ago that I started doing this sort of stuff where I'd be improvising on stage and stuff like that. I'd get so in my head about trying to be good, trying not to mess up, to the point where sometimes it just feel like you're totally frozen up, and that everything you played that night, you just look back on it, and in the moment you're thinking this is awful, this is awful, this is awful. Then you might catch some footage back, and it's sometimes well, actually, that was fine. That was way less bad than I thought it was. If I'd just known that it was fine in the moment, maybe I'd have enjoyed the gig more. And I think this is so important. So for me, it's taken having very little time to practice to realise this. The practice part is the part that I enjoy, and exploring and playing guitar. And I'm maybe not the most strict practice guy. I kind of view it as any time playing the guitar is basically practice. However, I, on the flip side, don't have that same sort of mentality when playing live. I hope and get annoyed at myself if I make mistakes, even though they're part of what happens for everyone. And even though now, when I have hardly any time to actually practice guitar, I should be expecting that these mistakes will happen and will come more frequently than they would have, when I had sort of 5-6 hours to practice. What I've realised, and it took, watching this guy, a violin teacher, talking on Instagram, is that I should be a bit more strict in practice. So, do you really know that song structure correctly? Yes or no? So can you play it 3 times on the trot or whatever and not forget what happens next? Can you really do that? And if you can't, then it shouldn't be a surprise when on the gig something similar happens, right? Equally, when you're improvising over a set of changes, whatever it might be, can you reliably play something that you enjoy or think sounded like what you wanted to do? If the answer to that, again, is no, then probably on the gig, it's more than likely not going to happen either. I've got to be more realistic about, if I'm not going to have the time to really practice that thing properly, and this is something that someone like Pat Metheny talked about, like he'd be practicing the same thing for like a day, playing through the same changes so that it felt super, super, super natural. If you've not got time to do that, then on the bandstand, on the gig, why am I calling it a bandstand? At the dodgy wedding you're playing, you're not necessarily going to play the most inspiring thing over Mr. Brightside, and just accept that that's okay, and catch the vibe of what you can achieve and just try and enjoy that. Ain't gonna worry my life. Now, part of this reflection means that the things that I feel like are important, like right now I'm practicing because tomorrow I've got to play Every Breath You Take by The Police. Now, in my head, I think I kind of know it. Then, like a couple of days ago, I listened to it. I'm like, right, now I think I know it. So I've tried to play along with it. And there's like a couple of bits that trip me up where it's like it either goes to A flat or it goes to F minor. at the end of the chorus. So I've sort of figured out in my head as I play along with it, I don't like to play when I'm playing live with anything in front of me, so I have to commit this stuff to memory. The first time it will go back to F minor, the second time it will go to A flat. The song starts at like halfway through one of those repeats, so it kind of finishes on A flat, and then there's an exception before it goes to the middle 8 where it ends on the F minor and then goes back to the E for the middle 8. And then another exception at the end where it goes to F minor both times and then stays on the F minor before going to the outro. So I've had to kind of repeatedly listen to the tune and play it, and I've just done it like 2 times in a row correctly. I'm going to probably do that again, and this is the kind of thing that I kind of skip over, but this is what I need to bear in mind, is that if you don't practice it and get it correct, then it should be absolutely zero surprise when you try to do the thing live and it doesn't come off. And there's another song I reflect on when I played it last time, which was Buck Rogers, where I couldn't, on the fly, remember that thing, because I kind of hate double bends. I was kind of thinking it would be up there, but it's right. So it's there. So I needed to look at that again. But it's like these attention to detail things that you could skip over easily because you think, right, I know that, or you know, you lose a little bit of focus. But this is something I need to like come back to again in my own practice. When I do sit down and practice, be a little bit more mindful and a bit more like, well, did you actually get that correct? And then if the answer is no, then you're going to have to make time before the deadline to actually get it correct. This is just little things where it matters. Like in this case, it's like learning songs and actually knowing the song and not just hoping that you kind of know it. Testing yourself, like, can you play along with the song and get it right? You know, 2-3 times in a row. Same thing kind of with a lick, I guess. If you're expecting to be able to play that lick, can you play that lick sort of 2-3 times in a row with consistency? If the answer is no to those things, and you're then wondering why these things are not necessarily happening live, then the answer is probably you're not practicing them with enough vigour. It's what I've decided in my own playing. And so either side has to give, right? You're either going to just say, right, well, I never really expect to be playing perfectly live. Or you have to say, well, I'm going to put a little bit more focus in when I'm practicing, narrow the focus and just say, right, well, this thing is the thing that I'm practicing right now. Can I nail that thing? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then I need to practice that again before moving along. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like a bit of a reflection for me. And as I say, my past was like the performance was the bit that I had to get perfect, like when you're getting exams, grades and all that sort of stuff, or thinking like the live performance is your real chance to show off. Once you're on stage, the time to be perfect has passed. It's now time to perform, see what the rest of the band are doing, try and bring some sort of performance, vibe, whatever, but don't be thinking about I need to be perfect at that point. It's kind of what I've learned. It's too late, but whatever.